a lot easier now that we're all in person.
Yeah, this would have been fun. Why didn't we do this?
It was COVID. Shad was in DC. It was a tough time.
We might have actually gotten people to listen to the show if we were all in person.
Yeah.
That might have been possible.
Oof, that burns a little too bright right there.
Burns a little too bright. Oh, wait a second, that's a mixed metaphor. What are you doing there?
It burns a little too bright.
It's not,
you know what I'm saying.
It's not over. The show's still going on.
That's true.
In my heart.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to watch, which I'm sure you haven't bothered to continue doing.
Well, actually, today I'm here. No.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I'm here to talk about season 4.
Speaking of JoJo, we got Jane O'Connor in the house tonight.
In the studs.
In the studio.
In the basement.
Yeah. We're in a literal basement.
It doesn't even feel like a basement.
Well, that's the highest compliment you can give a basement.
It barely feels
actually,
like a
it feels
basement.
less like a basement, and we have those roof tiles that make it feel like a portable.
Yeah.
You know, where the special ed kids would have to go in grade school. It's
Or
that sort of situation.
It kind of looks like the lunchroom where I work.
You work at the lunchroom? No.
I just mean like the little break room, you know? Where it's got the little tiled
I thought you
ceiling.
worked at a school's lunchroom, and I was
No,
like,
I
what do you...
don't.
Your brother does, though, right?
He worked at AJ's.
Oh,
He had to work at a lunchroom. Yeah.
AJ's being a culinary establishment.
Yeah.
I think that's a very generous way to describe it.
Yeah.
Goodness. No, yeah, but what about the room doesn't make it feel like a basement? Is it the tiles? Is it the roof office
I think
tiles?
lack of windows is one key, usually.
Yeah.
For what makes it... Oh, you mean what doesn't make it look
What
like
doesn't make it?
Oh,
you
I
said
thought
it
you were
doesn't-
asking me what makes things look like a basement. I was like, well, not having
Let's do some
windows.
exciting basement criteria.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie, pull up some pictures of basements. Anyway, yeah. Let me clarify it then. What about this room made you think this doesn't feel like a basement?
I was just being nice. It kind of feels like a basement.
It feels like a basement. It's a dungeon. For all of you at home who are wondering where we record or wondering, what kind of recording studio would these denizens of the dark ever record in? It would be in a basement. I assume that they just see our skin and know.
It's because we're based.
Yeah. Hey.
Welcome to the basement.
That would
The
be
based men tea.
Oh,
The
man.
based
That sounds like
man.
a podcast that would use like 80s neon as its primary thing, coming with like 80s synth beats without, a YouTube playlist as their music and then talk about, the border for 25 minutes.
say some problematic stuff.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Now I feel really distraught now that this basement feels
What
so
about your?
basement-y.
Well, it's a basement.
I
Well,
used to. My bedroom when I was in high school was a basement.
Oh,
Hey,
really?
look how you turned
It
out.
was
See, it's a
actually-
problem.
It wasn't even a basement. It was a closet in our basement.
Wow.
You're
It
a
was-
Harry Potter situation?
But that was the only way you could get a door, because 3 of us were living in the basement. So if you wanted a door, you had to live in the closet. And I wanted a door,
There you go.
so I lived in the closet.
So wait, how big was this closet then?
It was not that big, but it was like bigger than a walk-in, like a standard walk-in.
Yeah.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
How big is that? What is that?
Yeah. She figured it out, yeah. No, I don't know. I think it's nice. I'm trying to liven it up
It was
a little
probably
bit. It's got
half the size of this room.
It's got a green wall.
where I
Yeah.
lived.
So it's simultaneously
green screen.
You can do green. Well, we tried. That didn't go very well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a dark green.
Yeah,
That's true.
Well, the intro to the show was recorded on that wall, but since this is a basement, we don't have very great lighting. We couldn't get it like a flat color.
Yeah,
So
I know it looks very natural, but the lighting from this direction is all LEDs, guys. It's not a big bay window that we have in the basement. So I'm sorry, I couldn't pop
A window
for
to the living room.
Yeah, I couldn't pop for the bay window.
where
guys.
was this that you lived in the basement?
This was back home in Maryland.
Ah,
My
okay.
heart.
Maryland. I thought you were gonna say back home in Japan or
No.
whatever.
No.
No. That's not an insensitive joke. She lived in Japan. For all of you guys wondering.
clarify.
Just want to clarify.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
now I got the visual element. You can't racially hate on me anymore.
Which is all we were doing at our Bizarre Adventure was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
speaking.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, anime. Jane, come on our show. You speak Japanese, right?
No.
Yeah.
It's because we thought you were pretty cool. That's why.
Yeah, pretty cool. Not
Right.
very cool.
Yeah,
Pretty
no,
cool.
That's why we brought Gabe on for the cool factor.
The really
you
cool
were,
Yeah.
you were
factor.
there to support.
I was the girl factor.
Yeah.
I was the token girl.
No.
Much like every girl character in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah,
Except for one, Jolene. dude.
Jolene.
Jolene.
Now on Netflix.
Now on Netflix. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you want to watch the girl JoJo, I get it. Why you would? You are a girl.
Yeah.
Was it marketed to girls or is it just girl JoJo?
It wasn't marketed to girls. I think it was marketed to a very particular subset of what we'd like to call horny misogynists.
Oh.
We talked about that last episode.
Maybe I will check it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
You didn't
right
say
up my
men.
alley.
You just said misogynist.
Yeah. That's all it really takes.
Yeah,
That's all it really
Hatred
takes.
of women. That's the only criteria. No. Yeah. I mean, I'm really hoping that this becomes like a gathering place. You know, that's what I'm working on.
The
with
basement?
This basement
Or the
Yeah.
podcast.
Well, both, I guess. Yeah.
Why not at the same time? I mean, it is a studio and a green room at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, the guests. are
Industry
sitting over
joke.
there.
Hey.
Yeah.
We're halfway there. No.
You ever watch that show, The Green Room, with all the comedians?
No.
Where they all.
Just sit around?
Yeah, there's a ton of clips on YouTube. I don't know.
Just
It's just me.
who's on it?
They would get random comedians. I forget if there was a host. I don't even remember. But they would just get like 4 or 5 guys, usually.
Yeah.
Men.
The big problem with comedy. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
I only know one comedian. He's a dude, so I mean, based on that, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're not. The batting average isn't great there.
Yeah, it's true. You mean me knowing comedians?
No,
Yeah, that's
well,
true.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
Although Jane, you did stand up once, right?
I did stand up once. And
How'd
then,
that go?
Well, I didn't like that everybody was laughing at me.
Oh,
so I stopped.
Okay.
I didn't
A
like
real
that.
Rodney Dangerfield joke, right
Yeah.
there. Trust me, I get no respect. I come up on stage, I say things about my life, and everybody laughs. I don't understand.
Yeah, that was my bit, actually. I said, stop laughing. Every
Getting
second.
increasingly serious.
Yeah, I was like, stop laughing.
Like the Chris Farley, like smacking himself joke. You know?
Yeah.
Speaking of Chris Farley.
What? What?
You overdosed on drugs? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
What? Do we need to get the Narcan? What's going on?
Speaking
dude?
of Chris Farley, consequently John Belushi, and Janis Joplin.
And maybe did Aykroyd someday.
And I think he was 27. And, no, I'm just kidding.
Is it 27? That's the age.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it
that's
wasn't.
special.
I think Farley.
he
and-
wasn't 27.
Yeah,
he was older.
Belushi
than
and
that,
Farley were like, what?
No, Belushi
They were old.
Yeah.
I thought was 27. No? He
No.
was much older than that?
Look at him, dude. Have you seen a picture?
Well, yeah, but the
Well, also
drugs,
drugs.
dude. Yeah,
That's
also
true.
drugs.
He was 16. Have you ever seen Buñuel's Land Without Bread?
I can't say I have.
Yeah.
Tell me about this movie.
Yeah. Give us the lowdown, dude.
It's like a 30-minute or so satirical documentary about like socialism or something. I don't know.
Nice. Okay.
But
I could tell from bread being in the title.
Yeah.
That tends to be a running theme.
It's either that or a grind set
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. There you go.
Instagram video.
Yeah.
no, but it's and there's just this one. It's really crazy. It's really weird. It's surreal and odd.
Yeah.
But there's this one scene where there's this little boy just sitting there in the ground, and he's like, "Oh, like poverty really ages you. This boy is 70 years old." It's really odd.
Yeah, that's
I can't
actually pretty good.
explain.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
I don't know why I
Yeah.
assumed you would have seen this.
Yeah. That seems rather dish.
What year was this made?
Ooh.
Guess what? You do not have to get this right. Nobody's going to fact check you.
I'm just saying, like decades.
Oh, it's like I don't even. It looks so old. I feel like it's got to be like 40s or 50s, but
okay.
maybe 70s. It's a little weird.
I worked with this
The
guy
humor's a little
once
weird.
who had this policy where he would not watch anything made before the year 1993, and it was like
Really?
specifically 1993, and then he wouldn't watch anything that came out in the last like 10 years. So it was a very brief period.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was based entirely on when Judd Apatow made movies. He was like, they don't make comedies anymore. I don't even go see movies. There's no comedies. I was like,
So he just watches the same 5 Judd Apatow
Well-
movies
Yeah.
over and over?
It's kind of relatable. I feel like I've already talked to your ear off about my new policy, which is I'm not going to watch any movies made or shows made after 2010. Not for any like quality reasons, but solely because I need to like start cutting out things.
Yeah.
I
I
need to
get
like
that, yeah.
limit. So I've cut out horror. I know that's not really for me.
yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm just like, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'm cutting out everything after 2010 until I'm like 60. And then we'll know what was good
Yes, exactly.
from that
yeah.
age.
And that was what I was
And
thinking.
I could be like,
is
if people are still talking about Drive My Car, then I'll watch it.
people are still talking about Squid Game in 20 years.
Exactly.
Oh, they will not be
Yeah.
talking about
See?
Squid
And
Game.
that's why, and I didn't watch it because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna spend my time watching like Sopranos, which I've never seen, but everyone's still talking about.
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
I've got a confession.
I haven't watched it,
to make.
but
I've never watched it either. Dude.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. It's like
That was just an example.
Yeah.
I was in a television criticism class. I got learned on television. I still haven't.
Didn't you have to
seen-
watch an episode for that class?
I watched an episode of it, yeah, but I haven't seen The Sopranos.
Oh,
you got to
okay.
really,
It's not like a sitcom.
You gotta
can't
sit-
just jump in.
Yeah, you got to
You
sit
got to
down
kiss
with your
James Gandolfini on the mouth. You got to really
sit
live
down
it.
with your sliced gabagool on the couch and just absorb the mob life,
Yeah,
dude. That's
yeah.
what it's
I will
about.
say there are a ton of dramas where I've watched like half a season and been like, I think I get the gist.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
Well, dramas
Okay.
are tough. Dramas
Yeah.
are tough.
Yeah.
It's less easy to just sit down and watch it. My wife is into this. She'll just put on a drama series and just watch it in the background. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you can physically do that because I have to be invested. I have to
Yeah.
understand. If it's a comedy, I'm like, whatever. I'll just put it on and do something else.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I
Especially-
like the comedy, and that's why dramas are harder because I work all day. Look at me. I
Yeah.
work all day.
You're haggard. You're
Look at
You're
my
16 years
Look
old.
at my coat. And I come home and it's like, why do I want to reinvest in like somebody else's life that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
dramatic? Like a movie is contained. I can watch a dramatic movie.
Mhm.
And a comedy, I can just slip in and be like, oh, hey Tina Fey, how's it go? how's
it been?
How's it going at Old 30 Rock?
How's it going at Old 30 Rock? What's Tracy up to? Is he being
crazy
wacky?
guy.
What's that dog up to?
His shenanigans.
No,
Man.
man, I don't know. It's like when you have like a multi-episode drama, the investment factor is just so much higher because you're just locked in for a long period of time. Especially
Yeah.
like, God forbid, you actually enjoy the show and sit down and watch it all the way through. It's just draining for such a long time. Like I
Yeah.
stopped watching, what is it, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. After like, I don't know,
Hard-hitting crime
Yeah.
drama.
hard-hitting crime drama. After like 1.5 seasons, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like that's fine. Yes, I don't
Yeah.
feel like there weren't any plot lines that I felt like were dropped or anything like that.
I
had no
watched a lot
burning
of later
questions.
seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and let me tell you, it literally doesn't change. It's the same show.
Well, but
People
Jake
get married.
and Amy.
Yeah,
and,
There you
that's
go.
for the ladies.
Yeah. Hey, do we want to? Because I talked about this in my. Did you take television criticism?
I did not.
No,
I
you
know.
didn't.
It was
Okay.
one of my
So
failings.
there's this weird thing in all these sitcoms where there's the two lead.
Yeah, the
there's
will
the
they,
act-
won't they.
Yeah, the lead actress and the lead actor. It's like every famous sitcom or comedy. It's the same situation, right? It's
Yeah.
Ross and Rachel.
Yeah.
It's is it Sam and Diane
Yes,
in
Sam
in
and Diane.
Cheers? Yeah,
Classic.
classic. It just the examples just go on and on.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more.
Yeah.
I think the only ones I can't think of, Parks and Rec doesn't have that.
They
really.
like wait. They wait for. Well, they have
But
the,
it's
the relationship in the beginning.
Yeah, but they cut that out, right?
Yeah.
Like The Office goes full in, they do that, and
Yeah.
they lock it in for the rest of the show, right? Like usually it turns around at the end, but
Has there ever
I
been
don't know.
Has there ever been a won't they? It's always a will they, won't they, and it's always a will.
No, I
in
think
my experience.
Community. Britta and Jeff. They try to set that up, and they don't get together in the end.
Because it's weird because of the age difference.
No, they don't have the age difference.
Oh.
The couple that does get together has the age difference.
yeah, not Britta.
yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, Shad.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan Harmon.
No, I feel like they were fighting against it because of the age difference.
Yeah.
They didn't want that to be a couple
Well,
in the
if
beginning.
I remember, I've seen like a few of the early episodes, and that's a constant joke because it's
Yeah.
like, why would you want this? It's obvious that they're,
Yeah.
like 10 years difference. Or
Yeah,
something.
but then the audience is like, we do want it.
Those
sickos.
sick
dude.
audience members.
Yeah.
See, this is why I don't like democratized entertainment. Like a choose your own adventure book or like the Jabberwock thing that was on
Yeah.
Netflix or whatnot, where the audience has a say, they always make the wrong
No, I
decision.
think I think this is a consistent factor in American television specifically because British shows they don't cave to it; they just cancel the show.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're done now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing is that American television, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine say, goes on for so long that they start to become, at the whim of
Yeah, well, there's a lot of
people.
fan service, and
Yes.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
and that fan service I think creeps in the most in characters, and I think
Yes.
American shows do a good job with characters and
Yeah.
character-centered shows, but I think that's also why they could be weaker in terms of like maybe comedic punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Flanderization's much more common, right,
Yeah.
in an
Yeah.
American show. Partially because they go for so long, but also you find the thing in particular that your audience really likes about your character.
Yeah.
Amy Poehler's, what's their name?
Leslie Knope.
Leslie Knope is a great example of this, where starts out fine and then slowly but surely just becomes a one-note character.
Yeah.
Right. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's for me, I sense that in myself that I really like the heart in
Yeah.
American shows, but it can be too much.
Yeah, agree.
And I like that
often
about
is.
Community was pretty chill until like season 4 or 5. Then they really leaned into the cheese, I think.
Yeah.
A bit more in the character development, but the first 3 seasons.
a
Kissing
spicy
the
meatball.
mic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched like the first half of the first season with some guys after a wedding once, and my own actually.
Okay.
we all got together and watched the first half of the first season of Community. No,
Okay, the first season, it starts a little. This is where.
I was
Yeah.
not impressed.
I thought it was pretty good.
The first-
I watched the second season.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the third, but it was good.
When I show it to people, I usually don't come in at the very beginning because the actors, and you see this too with character-based shows, the actors don't know who the characters are yet,
Yeah.
and there's this weird disconnect, and I really feel it in Community.
It's
So,
true. Yeah, people are incredibly different.
Yeah.
Just one season later, but
I'm a big fan, but I've always been a fan, so I'm not going to talk about that today.
oh,
I'm kind of an expert, actually.
yeah, we gotta talk about specifically what your whale is, dude.
Yeah.
What is the thing that
Well-
this week you've got your obsession with?
Yeah.
Speaking of Chris Farley, back to where this all
Rewind.
I was trying to transition all those years ago.
Yeah.
Really into the movie Tommy Boy. No.
No.
My whale of the week is Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
okay.
It all started Sunday.
There we go. Not Saturday.
Not
night.
Saturday.
No, the
No,
day after.
you definitely didn't watch it live.
Not Saturday night at all. Well, it's Sunday morning technically.
No,
I won't get into that. I can tell you're not familiar with the format.
Yeah.
So it's a sketch show. Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Lorne Michaels is, but
No, I started house sitting for some people.
yeah.
Don't
I won't-
don't throw their
I won't
name out. Dude.
I won't give their names. But I'll give their address.
Yeah.
But they have Hulu.
Mm,
I don't know if you know
don't have
this,
it.
but Hulu has every season of Saturday Night Live except seasons 6 to 29. So it has. So I started watching seasons 1 through 5,
Nice.
and then seasons 30 to 47.
Wow, that, you really missed
Isn't
some
that like
prime
literally
cuts there.
getting
Yeah.
rid of all of the good Saturday Night
Basically-
Live?
So no Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
No Phil Hartman.
Oh.
No Chris Farley.
Yeah.
It's
Any
like
John
it's just the original sketch guys, right?
It's the original. Yeah, because basically after season 5, let me tell you,
yeah.
Lorne Michaels left of his own volition.
Yeah.
No Dan Harmon action here.
Situation,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a callback.
Yeah.
So 5.
Actually, real quick, I have a shout out to every executive out there who might be watching this and say, you're a television executive and you have Dan Harmon working on one of your projects. Kick him off sooner rather than later.
Don't give him more money.
That wasn't good for Community, but we can't let Dan Harmon have any more money. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Well, actually, with Dan Harmon, see, everyone took his side in the Community thing, which I
Yeah.
understand because the show kind of dipped in quality.
Yeah.
And they were all anti-Chevy Chase and pro-Dan Harmon.
Yeah.
I think
there was a
they were
bigger.
both at fault.
Yeah, there's a bigger
I think-
elephant in the room,
I think
which
they
is Chevy
both-
Chase.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Dan Harmon was
I think they were both
very mean.
like kind of hard to work with,
Yeah.
and both
Yeah.
of them together was just like bad mix. You
Well,
know?
I think the added element though is that Chevy Chase, a total asshole and has been for ages.
Yeah.
Just like there's stories after stories
Dude,
about
you got to
that.
watch out. He's going to get your number, dude. He's going to come and get you, dude.
Chevy Chase, if you want to come on the show and yell at me, I'd really appreciate that. Dan Harmon is kind of famously just kind of a scumbag.
Yeah.
Just kind of a
Yeah.
skeezy guy.
Yeah, and then there was the whole. Well,
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the whole public divorce.
Yeah.
thing
Yeah,
that
true,
was
yeah.
sort of blew up.
Dude, I cannot believe, and I mean, I guess this is showbiz or whatever, very professional. But what was the Harmon Quest, that
Yeah.
show they did, that D&D show?
yeah.
His wife was on it. Then they got divorced, and they did a second season.
The third season.
And a third season?
Yeah.
Yeah, with his wife on it, or ex-wife. That must have been a very interesting dynamic, brother. I don't know.
I mean,
That's
that
tough.
happens in bands a lot. The breakups.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Got a little
true.
Sonic Youth action. or
Yeah.
Famously,
Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears. Famously, Slater Kinney. I think we're all missing
Yeah.
the big one.
Yeah.
I
Beach
get-
Bunny.
No, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh.
Yeah, but-
I've heard
Fun
rumors
fact,
about
first
that.
record I ever bought.
Really?
Yeah, because
Because you are a white person.
I was like, I'm a white guy with a record player. I need a copy of Rumors.
Yeah.
So
No,
was
it's
the
all true.
yeah. It's true. All of it. The album's awesome. It
is
you
good.
want from me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what drew you into the Saturday Night Live hole? Right.
So, okay.
This dark abyss.
So I'm not the kind of person who watched it growing up, so I don't have a specific nostalgic attachment to any particular season. So I think I'm a pretty fair judge.
But you do like John Mulaney and Bill Hader, though?
I mean, I like them as like performers.
Okay.
John
Yeah,
Mulaney, I've sort of like staled on a little bit,
Okay.
but he's
had a villain turn.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
a villain turn. Well, okay, I had this before he had the villain turn,
Yeah.
just on his comedy in general.
Yeah.
But I think that was more of a personal problem because I think people I didn't like started
Likes
liking
John
him a
Mulaney.
lot.
Yeah. Wow. How gatekeepy
I
of you, dude.
know. I know.
Jeez.
It did make me really popular though, because anytime that would happen, I just drop in like, I saw him live.
Dude, I saw him live.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it on the Kid Gorgeous tour?
It was. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, it was a dope tour. Where'd you see him, in Detroit?
No, Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Baltimore.
she lived in
I
Maryland.
lived in a basement in Maryland.
Baltimore and Bmore.
in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So-
Anyway,
He-
I
he-
could
he
talk
told
about
his-
that show.
I don't know if he
but-
told. Maybe he told this for you guys because maybe he was just trying to make us feel special. But he told a really extended Ray Lewis bit.
Not at all.
Okay, so that was special for Baltimore.
Yeah, that was some crowd work going on right
Yeah.
there.
That
All I remember from that show is there was two very drunk women behind me who were in dialogue with John Mulaney the whole show. Were shouting at him, answering hypothetical questions he was putting forward. And I was there with a lot of, I guess, alt scene people were around me. And afterwards, they all got up and they all looked around angrily. And they all had this energy of, I was about to say something, but I didn't. I was this close. I was this close to saying something,
Yeah.
which was me, too. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I wish I could just turn around and...
You had bad luck. There was that one time we were at that Rush show. Yes, we've seen
Yes.
Rush. We saw their last tour.
Rush 40.
Yeah, rest in peace, Neil. Neil Peart. But a guy spilled like a full beer on Dylan. So
Damn.
And he was joshing around, kicking the seats, and spilled a full beer on me. So
Are you guys Rush guys?
look,
Hold on.
I think every
I feel like I was misled.
every young man goes through a phase. It's important for development.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, look,
well-
Moving Pictures, great album.
Yeah.
But
2112, better album.
Agreed.
oh wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Love
I
that.
love 2012.
Love that
2112.
one,
But
Maybe I should listen to more than one album. I just keep saying Moving Pictures, great album.
yeah.
And everyone's like,
And everybody's like, Jane,
job.
shut up.
All
You
the-
keep saying this in
all
every
the-
conversation.
all the young men are like, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just say, oh, Rush, David Foster Wallace. And they all
Yeah.
love me. All the young
You're
men
like,
in their
I've
20s.
seen John Mulaney live.
Ooh, I slipped that in.
Yeah.
Moving Pictures, great album.
All right, Dylan keeps interrupting you. Tell
I'm
us about
sorry.
Saturday Night Live.
Oh, well, I cut in with the, do you guys like Rush? Now you guys are.
Oh yeah.
pulling
Shad's
away.
trying to shift the subject away. We were really into them in high school. You know, and I agree. I think there's that kind of band. Everybody's got a band like that when they were young that they look back. I mean, we've got two because we were also into Imagine Dragons for a time.
Oh, you guys saw
Which-
that. I remember you saw Imagine Dragons live.
Yeah. Yes.
I saw them live twice. Which this is a
See, this
honestly, this hurts me physically to admit over the airwaves, dude.
This is why I
That's
waited
tough.
until I'd like developed my frontal cortex before I paid for tickets.
I didn't
to
wait
see
until I was
show.
I waited till after I was a damn idiot
Yeah.
before.
So I've only seen 2 shows right before the summer before COVID, but I'd waited. I was like,
Mm.
what do I really want to see?
Yeah.
Apparently, it was Built to Spill. That's
There you
what
go.
I wanted to see.
Yeah, that was what you were waiting for. Yeah.
I slipped that in when they're. If I kind of gauge the crowd, I'm like over 45. Built to Spill
Oh, and did you know I've seen John Mulaney?
and Built to Spill.
So yeah. Back to what you were
yes.
saying about SNL.
Back to SNL.
Back to the allegations.
Well, I really want to be good at trivia. I think was the.
Yeah.
So people will be like, "Oh, who were the first musical guests on Saturday Night Live?" I don't remember.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It was Billy Preston and Janice Ian. They were the 2 musical guests.
Oh, that's
Very-
pretty high caliber.
Yeah, it was pretty high caliber.
Was that first episode or
The
was
very first episode.
Wow, there we
Mhm.
go. They were
Guess who the
pulling-
host was?
Liam
This is
Neeson.
trivia time.
I have no idea.
It was
Is
George Carlin.
Oh, yeah,
hey,
makes sense.
there you go.
1970s.
Apparently, they were originally. I don't know if this is true. This is just from my Wikipedia research. I've only been doing this since Sunday.
Well, this is where we're catching
That's
you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at your least knowledgeable. Hit us hard.
Well, at least knowledgeable when it's Saturday.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's not cut hairs here.
Okay. No.
Cut hairs.
It's the same thing as
Split
splitting them.
hairs.
It's the same operation, same situation.
Let's see if you'll ever get an
Well,
idiom
let's-
right. Ever once on this show.
Hey, check the tape. I've done it all. You could count it all on one foot, dude.
Okay, so they were thinking, apparently, according to Wikipedia, of cycling through 3 hosts George Carlin, Lily Tomlin, and Richard Pryor.
Okay.
That wouldn't have lasted that long.
Yeah. Knowing that group.
It would just be Lily Tomlin if that show was still going on today.
Yeah. Rip.
But then Richard Pryor backed out, supposedly because of his, risque material.
Yes.
And George Carlin was like, not a problem for me, I guess. So he hosted the first episode. And the first episodes are super weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it makes me think SNL was like kind of on the cutting edge with, it's like very absurd.
Yeah.
They had Andy Kaufman on all the time.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Yeah, to just do his insane bits.
Yeah.
They had Jim Henson for like the first 12 episodes.
As a sketch player?
No, doing his like Muppets, and they're like more adult. It's really odd.
Have you watched like old Jim Henson commercials?
I actually yeah.
So there's
wait, what's the company he did?
There's is it a cigarettes company or something?
Tobacco or something?
Yeah, where
I can't remember what it's called.
Like an early version of Kermit's beating the crap out of
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah,
So
I've
there's
seen these.
another one though that he made
Okay.
in the 1980s called Southern Bread, or
Okay.
like late 70s.
I don't like
Or
where
the-
this is going.
No. So it's Southern Bread, and it's got like an old Cavalier Rebel as its logo. So he has a little Cavalier Rebel Muppet, and he says all of these like Southern supremacy jokes as like a Muppet. So, like at one point he says this bread will rise again or whatever, or like he goes to
pretty
the
good.
Lincoln Memorial.
I
He
gotta
goes
say,
to
good
Washington
joke,
D.C.
good joke,
and
yeah.
goes to the Lincoln Memorial and is like, this guy,
Get a load of this dude.
It's
over
pretty
here.
wild. It's pretty wild. I would highly recommend watching.
So
that.
anyway, the high
Interesting.
caliber for Saturday Night Live then. Yeah.
Yeah,
those great
I guess he was
jokes.
trying to get into his more adult content because it's just sort of like, I don't know. And this one was the first episode, sort of like the day in the life of this like alien monster warlord guy. And yeah, there's like some kind of risque humor. You get this a lot when you watch old shows, which is they couldn't say this.
Yeah.
Could say
You
this
couldn't
today.
make that today.
yeah.
And some of it's probably justified. There
Yeah.
are so many like really inappropriate like underage sex jokes type thing all the time. Like
Rip.
Burt Reynolds guest hosts on one episode, and the whole thing is just him like going around being an asshole and like talking about sleeping with young teenage girls. And it's like
Which is funny.
That's what it meant to be a rich and powerful person back then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's what it means to be a rich and powerful person
Well,
today.
We got you, brother.
Yeah.
We're on your case.
well, the opening, the cold open. That's what it's
Yeah.
called, guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. When they
And what is a
Open the
host,
show.
by the way?
so the host is kind of
Oh,
like
okay,
they're
yeah.
the person that's bringing everything together.
Ah,
It's a
yeah,
monologue.
yeah.
Mhm. So he's at the cold open. Actually, it just has a scene where Burt Reynolds beats up Gilda Radner and like stuffs her in a locker, like a man just like beating on this woman. It's like really, and the first episode they say the N-word twice, just like hard R.
Yeah. Rip,
So,
dude. Rip,
It was
brother.
like one of them. It was Garrett Norris, so I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
He's just reclaiming it,
Yeah.
but. Garrett Norris is black. I feel like
yeah. In case you don't know.
he was in the original cast.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the ones who didn't get famous. Him and I guess Lorraine Newman. I'm judging
I
by your
always-
reactions.
Yeah,
I
no
feel,
idea who you're
I feel
talking about.
bad for those folks that get on SNL and just sort of peter out, you know?
I mean, technically that's most of them. I
Yeah, it's
guess,
becoming
right?
more
Yeah.
common
Yeah,
now, too.
no,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's actually something I wanted to talk about with you guys.
Yeah,
today.
well, one of the things I've noticed, this is kind of, I guess, off topic just a little bit, but they all in commercials now?
The
like,
SNL.
yeah,
Kate
yeah.
McKinnon is always. What is it? Capital One or
Yeah.
She's in everything.
Like, I thought Verizon.
maybe it's Verizon.
Is it Verizon?
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like Saturday Night Live people are in, I don't know, 40% of the commercials that I see that are comedic.
Yeah.
television.
Oh yeah, Pete Davidson's doing Smart Water.
It's true. Yeah.
We're seeing that now.
That's a weird thing for Pete Davidson to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, there's Pete Davidson's doing a lot of weird things right now.
Dated Kim Kardashian.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, did you see the whole
The
text,
Kanye thing?
Yeah, the text exchange thing.
Oh no, I didn't see
No,
that.
did you see the show?
No.
Oh, rip, dude. Yeah. So obviously,
Illuminate me.
Kanye is, acting the fool and causing a whole ruckus. So Pete Davidson decided that he was going to privately message Kanye. And unfortunately, we live in a world where all of this is screenshotted.
Unfortunately, I think not.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day. It's like this stuff has probably happened all the time in the 20th century, right? With all these Hollywood
people DMing each other on Instagram.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Like, there's all this beef, but we never
Yeah.
got to hear about it, which is probably for the best. But
It's kind of fun because you could like wonder, is Jamie Lee Curtis a man actually?
Yeah.
But now you can't wonder that.
you can just look it up.
Look it up. But back in the day, that was a real question.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Well, people were asking
Yeah.
it. I don't know if it was
and
a real
you couldn't
question.
verify it.
Yeah.
You could trick every little kid in your neighborhood
Yeah.
thinking Jamie Lee Curtis was a man.
There you go. They would believe it, doubt it. So anyway, Pete Davidson reaches out to him and he's like, "Stay the F away from Kim, dude." And then Kanye is like, "Don't swear." It's like, that's what he responds. And then like he says, "Where are you?" I don't know what prompts this, but then Pete Davidson takes a picture of himself, shirtless, in a bed, and he says, "I'm in bed with your wife."
Yeah.
Wow,
Dang.
dude, that's the supervillain status, brother. Like he went hard, and I actually stopped looking at it after that. I was like, I don't know, I want to see the rest of this.
Pete
Did you
Davidson-
read the rest of it, Josh?
Yeah. So they went on to talk about like how they were in how one of them had just gotten out of. Like,
I don't think we could hear you at all.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right.
Oh
I
my
could hear
gosh.
him. I could hear him over the
Really?
headphones. I could hear him
You
over
should
the
bring him up in
headphones.
charges.
Naked, you say?
Yeah.
I don't know. Pete
Absurd.
Davidson, I feel like when you're saying supervillain status, he looks like a supervillain,
Yeah.
but he looks like the
Well, did you
Riddler
hear he's
kind
going
of
to the
supervillain.
freaking moon? No, not to the moon. He's just going to space.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what this-
Bezos is sending him to space.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's surreal, dude.
Yeah.
It's so much going on. I just spit across the table.
Just imagine being
What
a
if that got
middling
caught on the
comedian
camera? Yeah.
who's also sleeping with Kim Kardashian, and Jeff Bezos is like, "Do you want to go to space?" I don't know, man.
I listened to his stand-up album.
Who? Jeff Bezos?
Great. That guy kills. He kills in whatever room he's in. What's the deal? You'd be surprised. He
I went
kills
to
in
the
black
bathroom.
rooms specifically.
Headed
Well,
to
he
the
is-
bathroom.
he is
looked like a
bald.
bottle.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I talked over that premiere joke.
It was
Yeah.
it's pretty solid. It's about
Yeah.
peeing in a bottle.
Yeah. It's nothing but the highest tier of humor. Anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
You listened to Pete Davidson.
Oh, I was listening to his stand-up. It's all right. It's not that
I
bad.
never thought. I don't know. He's actually, I think, technically. Well, actually, maybe he wasn't the youngest. He was the first cast member on SNL, born in the '90s. They had him on. See, this trivia. But you
Yeah.
only know when you.
You watched
on
some
Wikipedia.
episodes of SNL.
All right, so we got to bring it up to what your observations were, right? Because you had. Did you watch up to the end of season 5 and then start
did
in?
not.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
haven't finished the earlier
Well,
stuff yet.
The person I'm house sitting for wasn't kind and didn't pay for the like nicer subscription to Hulu. So there's a lot of ads. So it
yes.
kind of takes a while.
Yeah.
This is a 93-minute show plus ads.
Rip.
Plus ads.
Yeah, you hear that?
Plus ads.
Hey, if you subscribe to our Patreon, you don't have to pay for. You don't have to look at ads.
Speaking of ads,
Yeah.
Squarespace.
Manscaped.
sponsor?
Manscaped, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have any sponsors yet, but we're not against it, I guess. You know.
That would have been a good transition.
That's
I
true.
kept
Yeah.
saying plus. That was a cue. Plus ads.
You
I was talking-
are more confident in this podcast than we are. dude.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So anyway,
So I haven't. So I just kind of
yeah.
like jumped around. I watched like if I recognized the host. This was kind of fun too. Like who's still relevant, you know?
Yeah.
So I watched the Richard Pryor one.
Of course.
which- great monologue. It was actually like I was like, oh, I feel like because comedy is so based in like
Because comedy is so based.
Base boys.
well, it's very like culture and time based.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think like it's fine. Like, when you watch old things and it's not funny, I'm pretty fine with like might have been funny back then. I
Yeah.
can't really judge.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if anything makes me laugh a little from the 80s, I'm like, that was probably really hilarious.
That probably killed.
Yeah, so Richard Pryor's doing some great bits about tripping and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Tripping as in tripping balls.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I had no
Okay,
idea
so
what you were talking
yeah,
about.
not like falling on the floor.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. Those are not mutually exclusive,
Yeah.
I guess.
Mhm. So I watched that episode. Solid.
Mhm.
I think. Well, that's another thing about SNL, and I think this is pretty well known. Is it's always a better show if the host is a comedian or
Yeah.
a comedic actor.
Mhm.
It always
because
just,
they're
like-
in the sketches.
Yeah, they're in the
Yeah.
sketches. Their monologue they'll usually write themselves. And there's nothing worse than like a team of young SNL writers writing for like Kim K to like deliver this monologue.
Or Tom Brady.
Like just someone
Yeah.
like that where they can't,
They don't have the comedic sensibilities.
Sometimes
right?
I feel like it brings out the creativity of the team. Like, okay, here's a non-actor like Tom Brady.
Mhm.
Let's give him a role where all he has to do is stand there and look good and like say a couple lines.
Yeah.
I'm referring to the workplace harassment sketch
Yes.
with Tom Brady
Yeah.
and Fred Armisen.
yeah.
And he does well in that sketch because they're like, all right, we're kind of limited. Like, what do we do? How do we have him do?
Yeah, I think that's probably a prerequisite for writing on that show is
Yeah.
having an understanding of how to use non-comedic actors in what you're doing.
Well, this is why I think, or this is my ultimate take on the show. I'll drop it early.
Oh, okay.
As I think a lot of the setup, or at least what it's turned into now, is sort of just inherently flawed as a form of live entertainment, or just entertainment in general.
Yeah.
Because it's this weird trying to be this weird hybrid of like sketch, improv, comedy, and scripted show.
Mhm.
It's not either one or the other.
Yeah.
And it's trying to kind of revel in that. And the only reason it's surviving is because of that novelty.
Yeah.
But I don't actually think it's good content
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. The thing that really strikes me is that hypothetically, this is a perfect sort of factory for putting out online content, right? It's like, okay, so we have some of the best comedians, right, in New York City. We hire them, we bring them together. Every week they have to fill a full hour, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if people watch it live, but we have all of these clips. We've got all of these sketches. They put them on YouTube. They spread. They go everywhere. I don't even remember the last time somebody shared an SNL sketch.
Yeah. That wasn't
Right.
political and super cringe.
Yes. Specifically super cringe, right?
Yeah.
Those political SNL sketches have just become straight up like neoliberal propaganda.
Yeah.
It's not even, it's like so hard to watch.
Yeah,
Even if, I can't imagine even agree, like if you're watching and like when I agree,
Yeah.
it's like unwatchable.
I my favorite of the SNL neolib moments is the Kate McKinnon as Hillary Clinton drinking in a bar, and then Hillary Clinton showing up and being like, "Get him next time, sister."
I thought you were-
and the crowd goes crazy.
I thought you were going to say the time Kate McKinnon is playing
Nancy Pelosi.
No. Is playing after the election.
Yeah.
Playing on the piano, Leonard Cohen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Oh,
I thought you
man.
were going to say that.
That's a rough one
That's
too.
also cringe. Oh man. Well,
yeah.
is it a Vine? I forget, or is it a TikTok with Nancy Pelosi and Kate McKinnon where they're dancing in the dressing room?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that
Yeah.
also another Kate McKinnon centers in a lot of these.
Yeah.
And it's because she's like way overhyped, so she can kind of get away with these like sincere moments, you know?
Yeah,
and people are like,
Well, and she's
wow.
also does characters,
Yeah.
pretty well. And
She's a
so-
very talented actress.
Yeah, so I think that
Yeah.
she gets a lot of those high-profile impressions.
Yeah.
And they really want to.
I think one of the reasons she only stands out though on the show now is because the rest of the cast it's like getting more and more bloated and mediocre as like a cast. So she's standing out, but I think in like 2005.
Was she a main cast member?
She is. She's,
Yeah.
She's been a main cast member for a while now.
For a long
Wow,
time.
I thought that
Yeah.
she'd moved on because she's in movies now and whatnot. I just assumed you're done if you're in movies.
No.
No.
No, apparently not. Well, Keenan's got his own show.
Yeah, he
He
does.
won't leave.
Yeah. He's gonna be there till he dies.
I like the idea of time itself ending. You know,
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty is in the sand, like in Planet of the Apes, and then just in a random room somewhere, he's still doing SNL.
He's still doing like one up with that.
Yeah, doing his jiggle thing.
Yeah, still doing Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
With the skeletons that he's got propped up.
Yeah.
I would love to do an impression, but that's I don't have one, and that wouldn't fly. So I'm not doing that. No, yeah. I mean, it's weird. Yeah, it's not. Again, I just feel like there's so much potential there because that short sketch comedy can really have a huge impact, and yet.
Yeah, I don't know about like the potential. I feel like they did when it first came out. It was just like a variety show. It was a bit more mixed. They like Albert Brooks was doing short films for them.
I'm
They,
sorry.
like-
I'm sorry. Which SNL cast member can you identify on their skeleton?
On their skeleton alone?
Yeah,
I don't know, Shad. Who?
Pete Davidson, because he's got a big bone.
Do we know this for sure?
Yeah, that's allegedly.
I was sitting there for a whole minute, like, do I say this?
That's so bad, dude. That is rough. That's not even a good joke.
All right, whatever you guys say. What short film?
Something about Albert Brooks,
yeah.
the fish from Finding Nemo,
Yeah.
the adult fish. not the kid fish.
Which adult fish? Oh.
Like his dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not like adult fish as in like swimming in the adult swim pool. You know?
Yes, yeah. I knew there was an adult swim
Yeah,
joke
I was
in
like,
there,
there's
but
an
I was like
adult
trying to
swim
figure out where it
somewhere.
could be. Yeah, it's out there in the ether now. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to think that, because the big argument that you always hear is, oh, every generation says SNL was better.
Yeah, and this is sort of the Drew Gooden point. I'm
Yeah.
I'm pointing it out. I'm
Yeah,
naming it
yeah,
after
because
him. This
Drew
is the
Gooden, he did put a
argument.
good video out about this
Well,
specifically.
I liked his video, but I kind of disagreed. His
Yeah.
whole takeaway was that it's always been like this. You know, I think it's more been like kind of like this. You know?
Yeah.
Just sort of like little kind of blips of like
Yeah.
fun. I do think there was a golden age, and maybe people will fight me on this. It does coincide with when I was young, but I was not watching SNL, so I don't think it was totally. I don't think it's because I have memories as
well,
a
so
child.
like, just to
Like the Fred Armiston years.
I think
Yeah,
yeah, I think basically from kind of Will Forte to I think the last to leave from that group was Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Those age where it's like Kristen Wiig, Will Forte, Fred Armisen, Andy Samberg, Bill Hader, just like really
sorry,
solid.
Lucy's coming over.
kind of
here
the end
to
of
say hi.
the end of Tina Fey right there
Yeah.
at the beginning of it. I think that's their most solid. Where even people like Jason Sudeikis, who was like probably the weaker one of
Yeah.
the group, was like doing okay. You know, they
Yeah.
could like lift him up.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like the Sandberg guys were the Lonely Island guys were there.
Yeah,
during that
they
time.
hired
Yeah.
the two writers and Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
a lot of fun. They kind of brought back the sketches originated by Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
And
of doing the video sketches. Yeah.
so, because that was a big part of the whole conception was it was going to be really kind of random, like commercials.
Multimedia, like Mad TV
multimedia,
sort
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And actually the second episode, it's just Paul Simon is the host and like none of the cast members are there. It's just Paul Simon
Doing
doing
music.
doing the variety. He's doing a lot of musical comedy, a lot of
Yeah.
singing. Because I think they just had this very variety show-esque thing, and then it fell into this formula of featured to
Yeah.
player to sketches. And well, now the pathway I think really common is writer room. Get into the writer room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make your way onto stage. Clearly not be a stage person and
Yeah.
continue on SNL for many years.
Well, I forget. did Pete Davidson?
No, they hired him.
Yeah, hired him straight off.
Up.
Yeah.
He was 20 years old.
Yeah.
He was a youngin'.
Threw him on there. Yeah.
But I don't know. And
And
he
if-
was more of a stand-up guy.
Well,
Yeah.
he sucks always.
Yeah.
Like every
I
time,
don't know if he
every
sucks.
sketch
I mean,
I've
he
ever
does
seen him on,
okay.
he's got
not a
he's got
terrible
one
actor.
expression.
It's
Yeah.
true.
The entire time, and it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I
Hey,
think his-
dude, Pete's having a hard enough time right now. with
No,
the
I think
whole-
he's-
with the whole Kanye thing.
Well, I think Pete Davidson and a lot of other people are just an example of SNL kind of curbing possibly good talent.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think Pete Davidson's medium is
Stand up.
dramedy film.
Oh,
'Cause
I think that's true.
Like King of
Yeah.
Staten Island, Judd Apatow style. He
Yeah.
can do that, I think, pretty well.
Yeah.
Have you
I
seen The
think-
King of Staten Island?
I saw like most of it because I like Bill Burr on a plane, but I didn't finish it. But I thought
So you only like Bill Burr when you're on a plane.
I
you
thought
mean.
I thought that role for Pete Davidson was much better suited to his talents.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think sketch comedy, and I don't think sketch comedy is a lot of their talents, but they kind of a lot of those people end up there.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Lucy.
Yeah, or the
Say
dog
hi.
is here.
Hello, doggy.
Hey.
I'm house sitting and I'm also dog sitting, and I think that's why the dog likes me right now.
Yeah.
Because I smell like.
Smell like
A
a
dog.
dog.
I smell
Yeah.
like a
Because
dog.
dogs only really like other dogs, dude.
Yeah.
But look at her.
Well,
She's
that makes
so cute.
sense.
This is great content.
I would
Right?
This is
say-
great content.
For the
people
video
at home
people.
are gonna love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna love seeing the
You
beautiful.
you sick sons of bitches. You're like, oh, there's a dog.
Gotta love it.
Like, share.
Also,
I mean,
Lucy-
please.
Lucy, I have two sisters. Well, I have three, but two that are important for the story.
Yeah.
Named Lucy and Maggie.
Yeah.
And those are such dog names. I meet so many dogs
Yeah.
named Maggie, named Lucy.
Mhm.
And I just feel so bad. They're like, this is my life. This is not a joke. They're like, my name is Lucy.
Is there any
Yeah.
particular motivation as to why? Oh, you gotta get going, Lucy. As to why they are named Lucy and Maggie?
I
Is it the Simpsons reference for Maggie? Obviously,
I don't-
right?
don't know, honestly. I think my dad, when we were younger, we listened to a lot of Lucinda Williams. So I just thought that might be why. And he
Yeah.
was like, no, that's ridiculous. But I told that story to someone who has connections with Lucinda Williams, and she said she got the word out to her. So there's a chance.
There you go.
That Lucinda Williams thinks that my sister is named after her.
Wow.
There you go.
She probably heard that and was like, nice.
Not cool. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, like what would you do? I mean, it depends on how well you know the person. Like if a random person off the street, say you were a famous individual, said, "Hey, I named my child Shad because of you and everything you're doing in the world of entertainment."
Yeah.
Would you feel like satisfaction? Would you feel nice? That's cool. Good for you.
I feel like I would feel like I owed them something.
yeah,
Well,
which
that-
is great.
Isn't how you're supposed to feel towards a fan.
Yeah. Well,
you
that would
know?
just be such a derivation of a derivation for you.
Yeah.
You know, it would go from the Bible to the Beastie Boys to you
Yeah.
to this guy.
To this
random guy.
I'm like,
Or girl.
Do you know your name lineage, Shadrach, Miss Shadrach?
You know the professor ancestry they do, where they like kind of link
Yeah,
who
yeah,
is.
yeah.
That would be you, except you didn't do anything.
Yeah, I feel like naming your kid though Shadrach is a much more of a legitimate move. Like if say, imagine you really liked Bob Odenkirk or something, and you're like, I'm gonna name my kid
Odie.
Bob.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that sounds
Okay,
good.
yeah,
That's
that
fine.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I mean, how much is that really after the person when there's Bob's? It's like
Yeah,
Lucy. Like if you name your
Yeah.
kid Lucy after Lucinda Williams.
Well, her name is Lucinda.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there.
Oh,
are,
her full name is
full-
actually Lucinda.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's why. That's
there's
why
more
I
of that.
thought. That's
Yeah.
why I was like, because all the other Lucys I knew were like Lucille's or
Yeah.
Well,
Lucille.
there's not really a famous Dylan, so
Bob Dylan.
Bob
I
Dylan.
often get Bob
Bob.
Dylan right. Yeah. Oh, I get Bob Dylan, but Dylan's his last name. But through the grapevine, I've heard that technically, in the great scheme of this family tree that we've talked about with his name, I'm technically attached to Bob Dylan by name. So,
Well-
and I imagine Calamity Jane is where you're.
Okay. I was always told that I was named after Jane Austen.
Oh.
And then as I got older, I realized
You're
that
like-
my parents were obsessed with the band Jane's Addiction. I just kept finding records, and I was like, wait a second. My mom, her favorite song by Jane's Addiction is Jane Says. Also, random. This is also random. I also found out as I got older that my mom is obsessed with the show Star Trek Voyager
Nice.
with Captain Janeway.
Yeah.
So I'm really confused. I
Girl
don't-
captain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
girl boss Captain Janeway.
The connections just continue
So
to
I don't know. I
stack
feel
up.
like Jane Austen was a cover. I feel like
Yeah,
that was like the sophisticated cover.
Well,
because you can't be a Trekkie.
We haven't talked about this yet, but Shad.
You can't be a Trekkie.
Yeah,
that's my
no.
statement.
Yeah,
That's my statement.
You are.
You
Trekkies
cannot-
is on site.
you
Yeah,
can't
for
be a
Trekkies.
Trekkie.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, my parents told me forever that I was named after the Shadrach in the Bible, which I think is, true. But
That's the Jane Austen version of my story.
yeah. But my parents originally heard the name from the song Shadrach, second song on the album Paul's Boutique. Give it a listen. It's a great song.
Beastie Boys?
Yep. Played while I was cutting my cake at my wedding. I was not instrumental in that happening, by the way. If anybody was at my wedding who's watching this,
That was not my fault.
That was Dean Sinclair's fault.
We want you on the pod, Dean.
Yeah.
Come on out.
Go listen to Dean's music and
Can you do that in front of me?
go listen to Jane's music.
Yeah, Jane.
Well, I just mean you're courting other guests, and I'm right here.
Jane, this is a revolving door. Nothing personal.
I thought.
You were going to be third
Okay,
chair.
wait, hold on.
Can we talk for a second? Okay.
You said you wanted me to be the first guest.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the George Carlin.
That's
the
true.
show.
Yeah, that would make you the George Carlin. Please do not die
Here's
in
my
George
new
Carlin
bit
man.
called 8 words you can't say on a podcast. New and improved version.
Keep adding them up.
Yeah.
I feel like, how are we doing on time?
47 minutes.
47 minutes? Perfect. We
Wow.
got plenty of time to talk more about Saturday Night Live because I feel like we're not talking about
Yeah,
it.
sorry, we're talking about everything except
Yeah,
Saturday
except
Night
Saturday
Live.
Night Live,
Friday
okay.
Night Lights, you want to talk about? Monday.
Any dang way.
I
Blue
knew this
Monday.
guy in D.C. who worked for this Republican senator, and he was like, "Friday Night Lights is the American epic." Like what? Yeah, they like pray before they play football. It's like okay, dude.
What about Remember the Giants? That did.
Remember the Giants? Oh yeah, the classic Pure Flix football
Yeah.
movie.
Is that a Pure Flix movie?
I think it's in that like same.
Yeah.
The Christian is saying no.
I don't think it's technically Pure Flix, but it was.
Netflix adjacent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah,
adjacent.
it's adjacent to it,
adjacent.
yeah.
But
Yeah. There's a lot of.
Have you guys ever seen Remember the Goal? This is cross country.
What?
Cross country Christian Pure Flix movie.
Wow.
I think it's actually like a lower brand than Pure Flix. but-
really,
Sorry, I don't know why they
Have you
brought
seen
this
it?
up. Well, so I was at a local ice creamery
Mm.
Whoa.
No.
and
Is it Overflowing Cups and Cones?
no.
Oh, okay. Which is a Christian establishment.
No, it's not.
Yes.
But and I was there, this guy in this motor wheelchair who didn't have legs came up while I
This
was
seems like a great start to a joke.
while I was out there, and he said, "You kids need this movie." And he had a DVD copy of Remember the Goal, which is a Christian cross-country movie.
Yeah. Which is a little
And-
ironic considering.
And so my brother happened to be, he was trying to start up getting his friends to like, I was at track bros, his track friends to come over and watch movies.
Yeah.
So the week before they watched Chariots of Fire. So my brother's like,
classic running movie.
you know what we should watch this week? Remember the Goal.
Wow.
Did you see it? How was it?
I mean, it was pretty like what you'd expect, you
Mm,
know?
yeah.
No crazy twists.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. The twist in God's Not Dead is pretty crazy. at the
Yeah,
end there.
actually.
Yeah. He gets hit by the car.
I've never seen it. I still know that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it when someone told me. I was like, there's no way.
What's that
Yeah.
actor's name again? Freaking
Oh,
Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin
Kevin-
Sorbo, yeah,
Yeah.
gets hit by a
Hercules
car,
or whatever.
and
Yep,
then he's on
Hercules.
the ground, and they're like, "You have one last chance. Is God real?" And he's like, "Yes, I believe God." And then he dies. It's great.
That doesn't happen in Remember the Goal. I think
Yeah.
they just like get inspired to run.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
wait,
they run a little
are they like,
faster.
gonna do steroids or something, or like what's their low point where they decide they need Jesus?
This was a few years ago. I think it's just troubled teens.
So it didn't really
you know,
impact
and
you.
they're all girls. I feel like I should mention this.
Oh,
It's a
Oh,
lady-
okay. Now
it's
this
a
all makes
lady-
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that was
They're not gonna do roids.
No.
Come on.
It's a lady coach who's brought in, and there's these troubled teens having teen drama and stuff. you know, and- yeah.
She
and-
gives him the good word.
She teaches them poetry so they can express their feelings.
and
Teamwork.
she's like, poetry. It's a lot like rap when you really think about it.
that happened.
yeah.
So I don't know where this came from.
No.
It's okay.
He
Yeah.
kind of looked like the guy who gave me the movie. Kind of looked like Dan Aykroyd.
Wow.
Now that I think about it.
Now that I
What
Not
kind of
that
Dan
I-
Aykroyd? Are we talking like absolutely insane Dan Aykroyd? Or are
we're
we
talking
We're
Crystal
talking-
Skull Vodka Dacroid.
No, this
Yeah.
is-
Dacroid.
This is season 4 SNL.
Oh,
Dan
okay.
Aykroyd. So pretty normal still. Just
Yeah.
doing his Nixon
just
impressions.
just raised by a ghost hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Doing his Nixon impressions. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Trading places is just around the corner.
Yeah. When people they don't know he's weird unless they have a personal conversation with
Yeah.
him at a party, and
Yeah.
everybody's pretty psyched about that.
But
Goodness.
is he still doing things? I guess?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
still
he's still
he's
out
like
there.
on
Crazy.
coast to coast and being crazy and stuff. He like goes on. He went on like Joe Rogan and tried to talk about spirits. He
I have not kept up with this. I'm only-
he was legitimately raised by a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
Really?
Like his dad was a ghost hunter,
Mhm.
and it is like a famous occultist in Canada.
Yeah.
and
And
Interesting.
the big thing, the big trivia, I guess, is that Ghostbusters was originally like, of course, with every Dan Aykroyd project, the script is like 7 hours long when he first turns it in. And
Of
they're
course.
like, we got to
Yeah.
cut this down. But it was a much more serious look at ghost hunting, and it had comedic elements in it.
and
Yeah.
all of his friends were like, "This is hilarious." Bill
It's
Murray was like, "This is great."
Very funny. Very funny,
Who
Dan.
was the director? Harold Ramis, right?
Did he direct it?
I think
Ghostbusters?
so. Yeah, didn't he direct, or did he not? Is he just in it?
Jamie, look this up.
I thought he directed it, but maybe
Who
I'm
directed
crazy.
Ghostbusters?
I think I know he did
He did Groundhog Day, right?
did Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And National
Great movie.
Lampoon's Animal House.
Okay, movie.
Yeah, that's an alright movie.
Dude, I don't really like National Lampoon movies, dude.
Okay, so you're gonna hate the first few seasons of SNL.
What do you got?
Ivan Reitman?
Reitman.
okay.
Oh, it's a
Reitman.
Reitman.
It's a
Yeah,
Reitman.
it's Reitman.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Josh.
The first few seasons feel very like the sequel to National Lampoon.
Okay,
Very like kind of odd, probably hip with the kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was when boomers were in their 20s
Yes.
and 30s. So
Boomers were in control of the world.
and so like
no problems.
well, it's
just,
just-
doing coke in the bathroom with no consequences. It was great.
the humor's like kind of absurd and sort
Yeah.
of weird and like well, Michael O'Donoghue was one of the original writers who was from National Lampoon, Chevy Chase, all
Yeah.
these other people.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. And National Lampoon, I don't know if it's an age thing, but
Yeah.
maybe it would have been like the Smiling Friends of its day, you know?
Maybe.
Just like kind of
Dude,
quirky and absurd. And
have you
weird.
watched Smiling
No,
Friends?
but I knew that reference would go
Yes.
over well with you two.
I like Smiling
watch
Friends.
Smiling Friends. It's great.
It's really great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Everyone
I-
keeps saying that.
You know that Harold Ramis is the last movie he ever directed was Year One. You remember this?
Year one
It's that movie. It's Jack Black
and,
and-
Michael Cera.
and Michael Cera
as cavemen.
as cavemen, where they like go through Genesis. They do all the stuff that happens in Genesis, like Sodom and Gomorrah and all that stuff. Right? It's like a comedy, like a
Yeah.
buddy comedy about that. And yeah, the last movie Harold Ramis ever directed, and it got like 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, and everybody was like, "I don't understand why this is so bad." And then he was just, "I'm done." So,
Time to die.
yeah, time to die now.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Well, we're getting
Well, we're so happy to have you.
yeah. We're getting closer to the end of this. So I wanted to ask you, like, I want to hear something that's a very objective, hard opinion about SNL.
Okay.
Right. So you've already said some things about how SNL is doing right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
in comparison to the past.
I think, this is why I think from the past, kind of back to this thing, I think it's always had this I think in the beginning, it was just trying to fill this spot that Johnny Carson had basically yanked out his Saturday night thing. So they needed to fill the space. And I think it was working and it was fine. It was kind of silly and different. And when you're a kid and it's like, 1980 and the only thing you get to watch is The Love Boat, it can be fun, It can be, speaking as a child who was the child of someone who had this experience. But I think now, and part of the reason you don't see a lot of those really successful people coming out of it now, is just not really a launching pad for comedy career anymore.
Yeah.
But the big thing of why I think it was flawed just from the beginning, and back to that like improv, because right now they basically cast from the Groundlings, from Second City Chicago, from UCB.
Yeah.
So they're casting improv people.
Yes.
But it's all scripted. They're all reading from cue cards. So there's no improv actually involved.
Yeah.
So the thrill of what makes improv fun, which is being there and the stakes and everything, is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scripted, they worked on it for like 4 days. Like the script is not that great, So it's in this weird middle ground where it's just like flawed from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I read, speaking of Judd Apatow, that was a callback.
That's what we call it in the business.
We call it the biz, a callback.
And he, in his book, Sick in the Head, which is pretty fun. He has this interview
from Jane O'Connor. Pretty fun.
He has this interview with Michael Che, who is current Weekend Update host. Also, kind of like Pete Davidson, not a good skit actor, but stand-up is decent.
Yeah. That's where they put that's usually what makes you.
Yeah.
I mean, Norm Macdonald, the same situation.
Yeah.
Like, not a great character actor,
But they
but
kind of just put him on there.
Mhm.
And there's a quote from him where Judd Apatow is sort of like, oh, people are always criticizing the show, but they don't realize that we're writing it in 1 week and we're putting it out there. We're working with non-comedians. And Michael Che basically says, that's like, we have some of the most talented people writing for us. If we wanted to condense it to 30 minutes and, put our best stuff out there, it would, and he says this, it would be the best show on television. And here's the thing.
bit much.
But he's like, but that's not our thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Make it your thing.
yeah, that's what I was like. I was like, oh wait, so you could be giving the world the best comedy in the entire world, and you're deciding to do this instead.
Yeah.
93 minutes of just kind of like really overdone sketches that go on way
90
too
minutes
long.
is way too long,
Yeah.
dude. That is
Yeah.
And we were mentioning that when you were like, oh yeah, watching old episodes. It's
Yeah.
90 minutes. So I cannot imagine especially nowadays, sitting down for a full hour and watching something like that. Especially
Yeah.
when like 50% of it's cringy.
Yeah,
Like,
and most of the time I watch it, I just go on YouTube and look at clips.
Yeah.
And like that's when you could sort of sort out the best stuff. It's
Yeah.
still usually not that great. But I just think, and especially now, like maybe that could have been true even within that Kristen Wiig golden era, because those are a lot of really talented writers, actors.
yeah.
Maybe if they'd all just been working on one, and you see how after people leave SNL, they do things that are often better than SNL.
Yeah. Barry.
Barry,
There
or
you
even
go.
Bill Hader and Fred Armisen documentary now.
Yes.
Fred Armisen's Portlandia.
Portlandia, yeah.
Kristen Wiig doing Bridesmaids, Tina Fey doing, Mean
All
Girls.
sorts of stuff, yeah.
I think it shows how the format is not really catering to these performers' strengths,
Yeah, agreed.
And I think even now, when I would argue maybe it will age better, it's a pretty weak cast. It's just showing more and more. This is like not the format for these performers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta feel bad for those people that are on the.
How much
it.
longer does Lauren have? He's on his way to retirement, right?
I don't know if
It's a
he's
couple
actually
years,
stated, but I mean, what's funny is that if you look at the history, he did 5 years and he's like, oh my gosh, this is too much. I gotta leave. So then they hire someone else, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then he comes back for like 20 years. He's like, that was a good break.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. That's why I think it's sort of a failed project. And now, kind of like The Simpsons and other things like that,
Yes,
it's really
yeah.
just around for like as a novelty. It's sort of nostalgia.
And I just-
I
I
you
don't
can't
know-
cancel that now.
Yeah, I don't know why it's still there from a money perspective. I can't imagine that people are still like going and turning on their TVs to watch The Simpsons every week.
Yeah. Well, if you
Right.
look at the history too of SNL, I swear, like every chapter, it's like there were massive budget cuts and they had to fire all these people.
Yeah.
They had to cut the episodes down to this and like all the when after Lauren left, they cut the budget from $1 million to $350,000. It's like just this massive cut. She had to the new lady had to rehire all these people. She did hire Eddie Murphy.
There
Yay.
you go. Solid choice.
But then Charles Rocket did say the F word. And so, I don't know. And then also the season right before they started hiring all these really great people, massive budget cuts again. They were making no money. So I don't know really how it's staying afloat, but apparently.
But apparently it is.
Because
And
with
from
the
what
Simpsons, they have like merchandise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's no, I don't know, no one's buying like a Kate McKinnon lunchbox, as far as I know.
Hey, I want to meet you out there if you are. Come on the podcast. So hear where this obsession came from.
A 13-year-old with a lot of really annoying opinions.
Ain't that the truth? No. Well, I think it's time to slide into the page, you think? Slide into the Patreon?
I think it's time for us to...
content?
So
I'm gonna
now
get-
I can say the good stuff.
You can say, now
Yeah.
you can say the F word. I'm going to go get some water.
Yeah.
Well, Charles
Jane.
Rocket actually said